Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your 2023 Tarotscope. If you're curious about the decks that I'm using today, you can find a list of them in the description box below. You can also find links to my social media accounts, as well as links to information on personal readings and the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram. There will also be a timestamp in the description if you would like to bypass any shuffling that I do. We are going to be looking at a lot of information, Capricorn. So please remember that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading. Only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Let's jump right in and see what's going on for you this year. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what is Capricorn's theme for 2023, please? Tell us about Capricorn's theme for 2023. Oh, Lord. Too many. Nice, clear message, please. All right, thank you. Beautiful. And what is a shift or an epiphany that will take place for Capricorn in 2023? There it is. Thank you. Capricorn's biggest asset in 2023, please. What is Capricorn's biggest asset in 2023, please? Okay. Thank you. What will Cappy have an opportunity to learn this year, please? What will Cappy, thank you. What does Capricorn's soul want them to know this year? Thank you. What would God like Capricorn to know for this year, please? What does God want Capricorn to know for 2023, please? What does God want Capricorn to know for 2023, please? Thank you. I don't know. I feel like and I kind of feel like this goes without saying, but I feel like that there may be some of you watching who aren't sure if you believe in God. Or maybe you don't have a very strong relationship with God, right? That's just what I call it. Maybe you call it source, maybe you call it universe, maybe you don't have a name for it at all because maybe you don't believe that there is something bigger or, you know, like a higher power. I just get this feeling there was some resistance there, right? So I feel like some of you may not have a relationship with God, and so for you, acknowledging a message coming from God, I feel like is something that you're like, oh, I don't know about that, or like, I don't know how I feel about that, right? Interesting. Anyways, what is a blessing that Capricorn will have the opportunity to receive? Wow. Okay. Thank you. I just want to share, right? Like, again, I call it God. I don't consider myself religious, just so you're aware, right? You can interpret it in whatever way feels best for you, right? Maybe that section of the reading isn't for you, and that's okay. Okay, let's get some clarity. Tell us more, please, about a theme for Capricorn for 2023. Okay. Tell us more, please, about a shift or an epiphany taking place for Capricorn in 2023. Thank you. Tell us more about Capricorn's biggest asset in 2023. Tell us more about Capricorn's biggest asset in 2023, please. Okay. Tell us more about what Capricorn will have an opportunity to learn, please. Tell us more about what Capricorn will have an opportunity to learn in 2023. Okay, thank you. Tell us more about what Capricorn's soul would like them to know for this year. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Tell us more about what God would like Capricorn to know. Thank you. And finally, tell us more about a blessing that Capricorn will have an opportunity to receive. Tell us more, please, about... Okay. Thank you. All right, let's jump right in, Capricorn. All right, so your theme for 2023, you do have here the number 13. Capricorn, I will be reading the numbers of these cards off. They may be important to you in some way, shape, or form. They could be a birthday, a phone number, an address, an age, a favorite number, lucky number, right? They could have significance for you in some way. So keep that in mind as we go through the reading. So again, you do have the number 13 here. This is fork in the road. And what I find to be very interesting about this, Capricorn, is I feel like there's something here. I'm not sure what this is, okay? But what's interesting about this energy, Capricorn, and I feel like there's something here around making decisions that you know are best for you, or that you know you need to be making, right? Despite external circumstances, or in spite of external circumstances. Like, it just really feels like there's something here about nobody knows the path that you're meant to be taking more than you. Does that make sense? Right? Because here's the thing, this has been coming up a lot in these zodiac readings for this year, this fork in the road. And this same energy keeps showing up with this card over and over again, where the oracle's face is in the saddle of this, well, whatever it is, alpaca, llama, I don't really know what it is. I'm not a zoologist, okay? But whatever it is, there's a saddle on the back, and in the saddle is the face of the oracle. In addition, on its back is an owl, which represents wisdom. There's an apple. When I think of an apple, I think of Adam and Eve. I think of the Garden of Eden. I think of teachers and wisdom and knowledge and learning, right? So looking here, it is to say for me, right, is that you have everything you need, right? You know better than anyone else the road that you should be taking, the path that is meant for you. I'm really sorry. It's not focusing. I apologize, Capricorn. For whatever reason, technology is great. Right? But there's something there about that. So I don't know what that's in regards to, right? I feel like that could be different for everyone, but I do like it feel it does rather feel like it has something to do with, it feels like the foundation of who you are. That's how it feels. Wow, this is fascinating because so you do have 13, right, which reduces to 4, which is about manifestations, foundations, stability, those sorts of energies. Also, it is a number of endurance as well, right? We also have here co-create, which is the number 40, which reduces to 4. So you have 2 4s showing up in the position of your theme for the year, Capricorn, which I feel like could have something to do with the foundations that you're laying, right? As well as manifestations that you're bringing in, okay? Stability that you're creating via those manifestations. So there is, again, an owl showing up here to, what is the word? Insinuate knowledge, wisdom, right? I just find that fascinating that you have 2 owls showing up. But I feel like, here's the thing, you are co-creating your reality. So the choices that you make, you know, when you come to these forks in the road where you're left with the opportunity to make a decision that is in alignment with the highest good of you, right? Of your purpose, your path, the things you're meant to be doing, learning, expanding on, right? You, again, you have this opportunity to co-create your reality, your experience, right? And by choosing things that are most in alignment with your highest good, with your truth, with what's authentic for you, what you know to be true, um, you create this. How do I word it? It's like it's interesting because like the words that I'm getting are kind of like optimal conditions, right? And that may mean something to you, but it's like it's this energy of essentially like when you choose the path that's meant for you, you co-create a reality that feels good to you, that feels right, that feels in alignment, right? It doesn't feel like a whole lot of resistance, obstacles, challenges, delays. Rather, it feels like flow. It feels easy. It feels like, you know what I'm saying? Like things just kind of happen. Do you have the Seven of Cups here as well? This is in the reverse, right? To clarify on your theme for the year. And the Seven of Cups in the reverse is an energy of like lack of purpose, being confused, right? It can also be an energy of like disarray or diversion. And it's interesting because I did get this energy with the fork in the road card here about knowing which path is meant for you, which path you're meant to be taking, regardless of what's taking place externally, regardless of those external circumstances, right? So it's fascinating that the Seven of Cups is showing up because it's, here's the thing, I feel like you know which path you're supposed to be taking. I really do. Right. And there's an energy here of, you know, having things show up in your reality, which could make it real easy for you to be distracted, for you to kind of lose your way. Right. And therefore, or subsequently create a reality that isn't what you actually wanted to experience. Right. So I feel like it's important for you to be paying attention this year, Capricorn. I also feel it's fascinating that this year, 2023, is a universal 7 year. You also have the Seven of Cups as the first tarot card out, right? The seven is this energy of introspection, reevaluation, reflection, assessment, right? And so I do feel like it's you're not going to be exempt from that this year, right? I do feel like this is going to be a year of that introspection for you, of that reflection of yourself, your path, the what you've been doing, the decisions you've been making. And I do feel like there is likely to be um, spirituality, emotions, and relationships at the forefront of that reflection and introspection. Yeah. Yep. 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 Because you do have the King of Cups here, right? And the King of Cups is a king who has this incredible emotional stability, right? He's very in touch with his emotions. He's not afraid of them. He also has control over them. So he's not going to act rashly. He's not going to, you know, run around hurting people's feelings, anything like that. He's also very intuitive and is able to listen to that internal instruction, right? The King of Cups is somebody who's very balanced, right? Very balanced. And the beautiful thing is about the kings is that they've learned how to kind of like harness or hone in on on their power, right? So he's learned how to harness his emotions. He's learned how to understand them, to hone in on them, to identify them, right? And I feel like this is something that's imperative for somebody who is, I mean, here's the thing, to be honest, you co-create your reality constantly, whether you believe it or not, in every moment, right? But for somebody who's aware that they co-create their reality, it's important for them to also be aware of their emotions, because this is a vital or key role or key component in the reality that we create, right? Our intentions must be in alignment, our emotions must be in alignment, what we speak, how we act, what we think, right? All of these things must be in alignment with what we're trying to co-create in order for it to manifest. Okay. So it's important to have that emotional control. to have that understanding, right? To not let external circumstances kind of throw you out of balance, out of whack. Okay. So, what is a shift or an epiphany that will take place for you, Capricorn, in 2023? Wow, you do have building blocks here. This is the number 28. But what's so fascinating about this is that I got this energy of foundations, right? And I feel like this building block energy showing up in this position as a shift or an epiphany, I feel like you are essentially, I don't want to say that you're like rebuilding necessarily, Capricorn, because it doesn't really feel like that per se. It just feels like, I don't know how to explain it, because it does feel like there's something internal that is shifting, and it does feel like these could be like deep-seated beliefs or behaviors or patterns that have been in place for a long time, right? But it's weird because it doesn't feel like it's changing you, like starting you over from scratch, which is interesting because a lot of times when we create those sorts of shifts, usually it is very shifting in our being, like in our entire being, right? Like it's not just a little bit. So it's fascinating that it doesn't feel so profound to me. It feels actually, I don't know, maybe there's just like a bit of tweaking happening. Yeah. Okay. So you do have here the Page of Wands to clarify this building blocks. And what's interesting about the Page of Wands is that it is an energy of excitement, freedom, exploration. And so for some of you, Capricorn, I feel like it's interesting. I feel like the blocks that you could be shifting could have been ones that were like weighing you down, right? I feel like these are heavier, more dense blocks. I feel like there is a sense of freedom coming from them. So you could have been creating shifts that are essentially freeing you from things that were weighing you down, which is maybe why this shift doesn't feel so profound for me, right? As I'm reading the energy. But there's also something here about, I don't know how to explain it. It's like I'm building upon things. I feel like there's already been some sort of building established or some sort of foundational shifts that's already been taking place, right? Maybe this is over a long period of time, maybe not. I feel like it's going to be different for everyone, but I feel like there's some sort of excitement, vitality, or renewed like sense of purpose or something that's come in, something that's provided some sort of excitement around the exploration of discovering what's true for you, what's actually in alignment with you, right? Maybe you've discovered something about yourself recently that has you excited again, right? Like excited to explore what else you can discover about yourself, right? And so maybe this is a big shift that takes place this year, right? Maybe you discover these things, and maybe there's this fire reignited within your experience, and you become excited to explore what the future holds, like the possibilities, right? Your biggest asset, you have quite a few showing up here for you. Wow, you have blessed, Capricorn. This is the number 22. Twos are about balance, right? So I do feel like there's something here for you. I'm sorry that it's not very clear. I feel like one of your biggest assets is finding balance, Capricorn, right? Being able to maintain balance, I feel like, is something that's going to be a big asset for you in 2023. I feel like in 2022, you may have started to count your blessings. And I don't say that because I don't feel like you were or felt blessed before, but I'm saying that because I feel like maybe in 2022 the blessings looked different, they felt different. Maybe it was for the simpler things, right? And I just, it's so funny. I feel like that attitude of gratitude kind of set you up to like and put you in a position to utilize that as a big asset this year. I hope that makes sense, right? Because I feel like that attitude of gratitude is going to be a big asset for you. And I feel like this is something that's already been established if this resonates with you. Wow. Beautiful. You have here as well the number 43, which reduces to 7, by the way, for that alignment with the universal 7 year. We have deep knowing, right? So I feel like another one of your biggest assets, which I picked up on in the very beginning of the reading, is going to be that ability to listen to what you know to be true internally, to what you know to be true within yourself, regardless of how others feel externally, what's going on externally, right? It is that knowing that you hold within, right? And being able to follow that, trust that, which I feel is going to be a huge asset for you this year, right? And the way that one, I feel, yeah, I mean, it really just feels like that knowing that you have, right? It feels very much like, I don't know how I know, I just know. Following that is going to be a huge asset for you. You also have the number 32 showing up, which is here and now, right? So another major asset for you, Capricorn, this year is going to be being present in each moment, right? Being in the here and now, not worrying about the past because you can't change it, and not trying to jump or skip ahead to the future because it doesn't exist yet, right? Don't allow it to create anxiety or fear within you because you're not in it, right? It doesn't exist in this moment. Okay. So I feel like being present in the moment is going to be a huge asset for you. Huge. This is again the number 32, which reduces to 5. And 5 is about changes. It's also about movement, right? So I feel like there's something here about being present in the moment, creating some sort of change or some sort of movement for you, which is interesting. Let's take a look at the tarot and see what it has to offer. So the Knight of Swords in the reverse. Okay, this is an interesting energy to show up, right? We're talking about your biggest asset here. And the Knight of Swords in the reverse is this energy of, I mean, really not having no how do I word it? Being unpredictable, not really worrying about what consequences are going to come from their actions, that sort of thing. I really feel part of your biggest asset, Capricorn, or explaining this even further, is really just kind of like not having any particular direction, right? It's very fascinating, this energy. I feel like, again, it's that energy of like, I don't know how I know, I just know, which is very not like, it's not very Capricorn, right? It's really not. I mean, because that Capricorn energy is like very kind of like practical, right? Very kind of, it's fearful also, right? Like kind of what is the word? What is the word? Not paranoid. Like cynical kind of, right? So it's not an energy that's like just gonna do things that seem so impulsive, right? But I feel like it's a huge blessing for you. I feel like it creates this flow in your experience, right? Which allows you again to be present in the moment. And I just feel like it's a completely something different for you. It's absolutely amazing though, because it allows you to change your perspective, which is a huge asset, right? Being able to see things from a different point of view, right? It's going to be huge. And here again, Capricorn, is an owl showing up, representing that wisdom, right? You know the truth. You know. This energy keeps showing up over and over and over again. Trusting your truth, Capricorn, is going to be huge for you this year. It is going to be one of your biggest assets, right? And this isn't necessarily like a book smarts, right? Because there is a by the book in this deck, which could have come out. But instead, what came out for you is deep knowing, right? So it's not like a book smart move. It's like, I have this gut feeling that is feels true for me that I'm going to follow. Obviously, Capricorn, be discerning, right? Use your intuition. Do what is best for your life. I'm just a girl on YouTube, right? But there's something here about knowing within you, having this truth within you, knowing something to be true, right? And it being that deep knowing. Lots of mental energy here, right? And I feel like that's something you could be overcoming this year. Okay, so you do have here the number 45, time to go, in a position of what you have an opportunity to learn. So when I created this spread, Capricorn, this position is something that might be challenging or difficult for you to face. And I feel like with this being time to go, I just feel like there's something here about being on a path that is not necessarily meant for you. I don't know necessarily that it deals with particular people or particular places, so much as it does being on a path that's not really in alignment with you and your highest purpose, right? It's really interesting because oftentimes this card for me shows up as like, knowing when it's a time to like leave people, situations, right? Even habits or behaviors. But this feels more like just being on a path that is not in alignment with your purpose, with what you're supposed to be doing, right? So I feel like there's some tweaking, right? Which may explain that fork in the road as well. Interesting. We do have the Queen of Wands here in the reverse, which, I mean, this is somebody who is insecure. This is somebody who is maybe even a bit selfish or jealous, right? Um, for some, I really feel like there's this energy of like, being afraid of leaving the path that you're on because there's a fear of like, what else am I going to do? Right? So let's say for I don't know who this is for or why, but let's say you've been working one type of job for a vast majority of your life, your adult life. And maybe it's not really in alignment with your purpose, what you're supposed to be doing here, right? And the question that you ponder is, what else am I going to do? Like, how am I going to start over again? Type of thing. And I don't feel like, for whatever reason, I don't feel like that's entirely the case, right? Because I feel like whatever you're doing already is to some degree in alignment with your purpose. It's just you're not fully in your lane. But it's going to take bravery or courage, right? Like releasing insecurities that you have around being able to like bring whatever this is to life, like fully, or to step into it fully, right? You're gonna have to release any insecurity that you have, right? And move forward. It's gonna take courage. It's gonna take bravery. Let's take a look at what your soul wants you to know. I apologize if that was loud, Capricorn. I hit the table. All right, so your soul has for you here, chop wood, the number 42. What's interesting about this card, Capricorn, is that chop wood is literally a card of work, like physical work. There's a broom there. There's a bundle of wood. There are buckets, right, to imply that there's been some sort of cleaning or physical chores, right? Chore work done. Um, but it's an interesting card to show up for you, Capricorn, because what I know of Capricorn, many are very hardworking, very, very hardworking. very driven, right? As well as discipline. So I don't feel like your soul is saying that there's work to be done like in the physical world. That doesn't make sense. I do feel like there are difficult decisions to be made, right? Which could feel like work for some of you. Let me flip over here. So we do have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, which can be about bad investments, missed opportunities, right? Oh, got it. Okay, so for some of you, you've actually missed opportunities because you were working. Right? Like, I don't know what these opportunities are in relation to. If it resonates, you'll know, right? You'll be like, oh God. Like, I just feel like there's that energy that hit me. As soon as I said that, it was like, oh God. Yep, that's mine. Right? Um, right. So for some of you, I feel like you've actually missed opportunities that could be with family, friends, loved ones, experiences with, you know, people that you're meant to run into to have certain things take place, right? I feel like you've missed opportunities because you've been too busy working, like actually working. Yeah, right. It like this has created working, I feel, has created in your life for some of you this burnt out, stressed energy, right? So I feel like what your soul is saying is like, hey, while creating um, stability in your experience can be very important, you're also missing out on some things. It's also creating stress, right? There's a need for balance. A need for balance. What else do we have here? Nine of Cups in the reverse. Yes, lack of true joy. I mean, it's generally being dissatisfied, right? I feel like something your soul wants you to know, Capricorn, is like working harder, making more money, creating more stability is not going to bring satisfaction, right? Because ultimately you miss out on opportunities with family, with friends, with loved ones. You miss out on experiences, right? You are stressed, burnt out. Maybe that causes you to even create imbalance in your experiences, right? And it leaves you overall feeling dissatisfied. And I feel like your soul is letting you know this so you can change it. Take it if it resonates. What is God, source, universe? I call it God. What does God want you to know? Truth be told. This is the number 14. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I feel like God is saying when you remove the masks, when you open up your heart, when you feel what you know is true, the truth reveals itself. Like you know what the truth is. That's it. And that truth can create change if you let it. Right? Because here's the thing, there's this owl, yet again for you, Capricorn. There's this owl, and there's like this window in his chest where these hearts are flowing from. But the windows open from I'm saying, like they open outward. So there's this feeling of, right, like you actually opening up to the truth, opening your heart to the truth, removing the masks, getting down to what it is you really truly feel and what you know to be true. So this is just a repeating theme for you, Capricorn, over and over and over again. And I feel like it's your year for that internal wisdom, that internal knowing, trusting it, right? Because I think if you are honest, you know the truth. Knight of Wands in the reverse to clarify, which this is an energy, Capricorn, of anger, right? And here's the thing. I keep having this quote show up in reading after reading after reading. this has that energy to it of the truth will set you free, but first it will hurt. Because I feel like the truth is going to set you free, but it's going to make you angry first. Right? And perhaps it makes you angry with yourself. But it's not a bad thing to experience these things. It's not bad to experience these types of emotions, or to allow ourselves to feel these types of emotions, right? It's not okay to sit in them. It's important that we learn how to navigate them, right? It's important that we learn to be truthful and to be able to experience whatever comes with that truth. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's really what it feels like. It feels like the truth will set you free, but first it's likely to make you angry. Wow, we also have the Queen of Cups here in the reverse, which is fascinating because I feel like there's something here. I feel like there's the anger comes from not being truthful with what you feel in your heart, right? Um, that's how I'm seeing this. The Queen of Cups in the reverse typically is a representation of, insecurity, dependence, even martyrdom. But what I really pick up on, because in the upright, the Queen of Cups is someone who's very in touch with their emotions, comfortable with them, okay with them, knows how to navigate them, is compassionate, calm, intuitive, very intuitive, right? Is going to listen to their intuition, be open to flowing, right? This is all sorts of emotion. And I feel like there is an element here, Capricorn, again, of the truth will set you free, but first it's going to hurt. And I feel like it's going to unfold in a way that's likely to make you angry, likely at yourself, right? And maybe you'll even feel a bit like insecure or out of control in regards to your emotions, but it's all like part of the truth coming out. It's all part of that truth setting you free, right? Even crying, anger, all those emotions are forms of release, right? But it's learning how to control them. It's learning how to process them and navigate them truthfully and honestly, and not sitting in them and allowing them to control you. That's important, right? What can you learn from them? But I feel like this is what God wants you to know, right? It's like, it may hurt, but it's the truth, and it's what's going to essentially allow you to be cracked open and feel, and yeah, just be 100% authentic, right? Super interesting energy. I feel like you'll learn a lot about yourself, Capricorn, because again, that owl keeps showing up, right? And I feel like this is a year of you really learning a tremendous amount about yourself and what you're capable of. What is a blessing you'll have the opportunity to receive this year, Capricorn? You do have a message in a bottle. This is the number 15. So what's interesting about this is that we go from number 14 to 15. So I feel like you are making progress this year, Capricorn. But with this message in a bottle, uh, it feels to me like there could be something you've been waiting on that may find its way to you, right? Maybe it's something that you prayed about, meditated on, have been trying to manifest for some time, right? And maybe it finds its way to you, because the way I think about a message in a bottle, right? I think about if you send a message out, oftentimes it's probably going to take a period of time before it finds its way back to you, right? It's not just going to show back up like the next day. So I feel like there's something that you could have been waiting for, right? You've been waiting for something to show up, and I feel like it is likely to be making its way to you this year. And I feel like this could come in the form of a phone call, perhaps because there is a phone there, um, or could come from like overseas. It's really interesting that that would come in. That could be something specific for someone. Maybe you're waiting for a message from overseas, family, a business arrangement or agreement or something. You also have here loyal heart. This is the number 35. So I feel like, again, this is a blessing you have the opportunity to receive, right? So, here's what's interesting with the message in a bottle. It's like you've got to be in the right place at the right time to receive it, right? Because if you're not in the right place at the right time, like the tide might come and wash it away, and you may never see it again. Okay, so I do feel like that's part of like following that deep knowing, following your intuition, right? Knowing when it's time for you to change paths or change directions, being very truthful, very honest, moving in that space, moving in the here and now, right? Because I feel like that's going to require you, again, it's an opportunity, right? So it's not that the blessing is going to show up for sure. It's that there are certain things that need to transpire in order for you to be in alignment with those blessings, right? And I feel like part of this for you, Capricorn, is following your intuition and being in the right place at the right time. And I feel like part of the blessing you receive from that, again, more freaking owls. Again, the blessing that you receive from that is, Capricorn, first of all, wisdom. Okay, wisdom. Second of all, I feel like it teaches you how to trust yourself, to trust the wisdom that you hold within, right? And in addition to that, I feel like you see the loyalty of God, if that makes any sense. For some of you, you may reject that immediately. I just felt it. But for some of you, it is literally God saying, like, I am co-creating your reality with you. It is God showing you that it's loyal. Take it if it resonates with you, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, right? From the tarot, this is beautiful to show up with these two cards, because the Four of Cups in the reverse, Capricorn, showing up for you is this energy of choosing happiness, right? Choosing happiness. It's also a card of awareness, right? So for some of you, maybe you start this year off with a relationship with spirit, God, source, whatever you call it, that isn't all that strong. And maybe you end it in a different position, right? Maybe you come into this state of awareness over the course of the year where you learn that God does have a loyal heart and does work with you. That with patience, that message will come, that prayer will be answered, right? And for some of you, you start to choose happiness, being loyal to your own heart, trusting your wisdom, right? I feel like this is so beautiful. So beautiful, because you start your reading for this year, Capricorn, with this 4 energy, right? The 13 reducing to 4, and then the 40 also reducing to 4, and you close out this reading with that 4, choosing happiness, acceptance, and awareness. And I think that's beautiful. So I feel, Capricorn, for you this year is going to be focused a lot on foundation, a lot on endurance, a lot on your manifestations, what you're creating, right? And who you are, and aligning with those foundations, with that path, with your purpose, right? Feeling or finding true joy in what you do every single day and every single moment, feeling blessed and trusting everything that you know to be true within. And I feel like that's incredibly, incredibly powerful for you. I pray that your 2023 is nothing shy of absolutely amazing, expansive, powerful, full of courage, bravery, and profound shifts in who you believe you are and what you believe to be true about this experience you're having. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure to read for you. If something in this reading has resonated for you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, or smashing that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. It tells YouTube that there may be something here for someone else to see, and I'm so very grateful for that. Have an amazing, amazing 2023. Take care of your beautiful soul, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.